All right, welcome by factoring trinomials with our leading coefficient equaling 1. So these are what we refer to as our easy trinomials. And after we've gone through them a bit, you'll figure out why, especially once we do the harder ones. All right, so there's some step-by-steps. If you want to read through those, you are welcome to. So it says factor each trinomial. If a trinomial cannot be factored using integers, meaning whole numbers, then we write the word prime. So the way that this works is we play the factor game. You're going to take the number on the first term and you're going to multiply it by the number in the third term. So 1 times negative 35. That's negative 35. So we're looking for two numbers that multiply to be negative 35 and then add to be our negative 2. Okay, so like I said, we're playing the factor game. So what meets that criteria? So we're going to start thinking about what multiplies to be negative 35. So 5 and 7. That's going to give us a combination that gives us 2. So those two numbers are negative 7 and positive 5. So now we're going to take our middle term and we're going to split it into two parts. The negative 7a plus 5a. Negative 7a plus 5a is negative 2a, so we haven't changed anything. Then that comes down and that comes down. So we get a squared and minus 35. Now we have something that we recognize that we can factor by grouping. So we're going to group these two together. I can factor out an a. That leaves me with a minus 7. Second set, I can factor out a 5. That leaves me with a minus 7. So I get a minus 7 and a plus 5. And that is factored. Okay, so again, we're going to play the game. Multiplies to, adds to. So we're going to multiply to our third term, so negative 12, and we're going to add to our middle term, which is 4. So 2 and 6. No. Yeah, 2 and 6. So negative 6. Nope, it's positive 6. And negative 2. So our p squared comes down. Our middle term becomes plus 6p minus 2p minus 12. Factor by grouping. So our first grouping, we can take out a p. We're left with p plus 6. Take out a negative 2. We're left with p plus 6. So p plus 6, p minus 2. Okay. Example C multiplies to, so we're going to multiply to be 6. We're going to add to be negative 5. So if we're multiplying to be a positive but adding to be a negative, both numbers have to be negative. So negative 2 and negative 3 are going to give us what we need. So we're going to split that middle term. So y squared minus 2y minus 3y plus 6. So we're going to factor the two groups. So we get y here, leaving us y minus 2. Second group, we can factor out a negative 3, leaving us y minus 2. So we're left with y minus 2 and y minus 3 as our two factors. So there is a shortcut that you may have noticed. This number is that number. This number is this number. Right? Did that same thing happen in our second grouping? We had positive 6 and we had negative 2. Here we had negative 2 and negative 3. So that's the shortcut. So whatever you figure out what those two numbers are, as long as that first number in the trinomial is 1, so we don't have any number in the beginning, then we just have to find what it multiplies to, adds to, and then put our variable with those numbers in the parentheses, and we're finished. Okay, so let's see if we can't use that shortcut. Okay, so this one multiplies to positive 1, adds to be negative 2. So that's going to be negative 1 and negative 1. So then one parenthesis, we variable minus 1. The other one, variable minus 1. Because these happen to be the same, this is what we call a perfect square trinomial. You could also write this as x minus 1 squared if you wanted to, but I'm perfectly fine with you not. All right, so here we go. Multiplies to, adds to, multiplies to be negative 36, adds to be 5. So we need a positive number and a negative number. So positive 9 and negative 4. So in parentheses, x plus 9, x minus 4. And our last one multiplies to be negative 50, adds to be negative 5. So again, a negative and a positive. This time our negative 1 is going to be the bigger one. So x minus 10, x plus 5. Okay, so this shortcut, again, only works when what we call the leading coefficient is 1. Right, so whenever we don't have a number sitting out front, we can use this shortcut method where we just multiplies to be the third term, adds to be the middle term, and those two ones go in the box or in the parentheses.